guys, it's K8 Simsley here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be building a container-style cafe in Evergreen Harbor. So, as you can see, this cafe is just made of 2 shipping containers. I initially pulled the container out of debug to use, for the size, to figure out how big it should be. And I'm putting down concrete. I end up switching it back to grass. But I laid out the 2 containers with one on top of the other. I end up putting pillars supporting the upper container. And yeah, I'm creating a little patio. I do end up changing it quite a few times in this build, and you'll see that. I put it there, I take it away, I put it back, I take it away, I think I put it back again. It's there in the end, but it's a lot smaller. I do change the layout and the style. So here I am painting the containers. I love the new metal siding that we got with Eco Lifestyle. So I'm using that to create one red and one yellow container, as you can see there. I put this trim around the bottom of the red container because you could see the floor showing through. It shows up white. So I just use the wall trim there. We're adding trim to the little decking, but I think I'm going to be taking it away in a minute or two. Here we are pulling up the pillars. Again, they're Eco Lifestyle. A lot of the stuff in this build is Eco Lifestyle because it is built in Evergreen Harbor. I love Evergreen Harbor, but I think that the way that the green initiatives change and how quickly they change is kind of disappointing. You'll work really hard to get, well, you don't even work that hard, but you get your area green, and it stays that way for I don't know, a sim week, and then it's back to being all full of trash, or vice versa, it'll be all full of trash, and all of a sudden it's green. I wish they had put a little more thought into the gameplay aspect there. There I'm just adding a little fence to create a closed patio, and I put this adorable little bench. It has a bunch of grass growing in the back of it. I thought that was really cute. When I think of eco, I think of green living, so I think of growing my own plants and having lots of plants around the house, so that's what I wanted to do in this build. Here we are adding some windows. I use these big Eco Lifestyle windows. I don't think I've ever used these ones before, but I loved the way that they lined up inside. They create this little shelf. Later on, off camera, I end up cluttering up the shelf. I put just a few little plants on there to make it seem a little more cozy, and yeah, that was about it. A little cozier and homier, I guess. So there I'm putting in the espresso machine for the cafe. I had to shift it around a little bit. I initially wanted it to go sideways, but the build was not big enough for that. I guess I could have done that in the end because I do end up making it wider. However, I just turned it this way and I added a sink. And then we're going to put a chalkboard up behind it at some point here. Oh, and we put this little chalkboard out front as if it's the menu out front before you come in. You can decide if you want what they offer. And there we are, just sizing up the larger chalkboard and hanging it behind the counter. Now I do fiddle around with that chalkboard a lot, trying to get it centered, and I end up moving the counter, and it's kind of a mess. I fiddle a lot with this build, trying to make everything just fit and work exactly the way I wanted it. I used a ladder instead of stairs because they take up a lot less space, as you can see there. I'm just shifting the counters over to pull the ladder forward and back. And yeah, playing with the decorations. So I end up putting bathrooms right there on the right. I had initially tried to put them straight forward and it wasn't working because the window. I didn't think of it at the time. So I ended up putting them there. So there's 2 bathrooms, one for men, one for women. And they have everything you need. I guess they have a sink and a toilet. So you're going to see there I am adding windows in the bathroom. I put these little tiny base game windows. I end up shifting them down to, I don't know, just add some flair to the build, I guess. I initially put this sink in, and I love that sink. Unfortunately, I did not notice that it has a hose hanging on the side of it. I guess it's a gardening sink for outside or something. So I ended up switching that out for the DIY sink, which is a shame because they looked absolutely stunning. But I've got the Eco Lifestyle toilets, and I managed to use these lights. They're Eco Lifestyle as well. I always try to use them, and they never seem to work in the builds, but they seem to fit perfectly here, and they provided just enough light in the bathrooms that you can see what you're doing. So here I'll be changing out the sinks because I just realized that they have hoses as I put the toilet paper on the walls, so I changed them out for these DIY sinks. Right there, and I think we're going to be painting the floors. No, we're getting doors, bathroom doors. So I chose the little blue, red and blue bathroom doors there. One for men and one for women. Here we are. I put concrete flooring throughout this build, except in that area, and in the bathrooms, I put that large floor tile. I end up folding around with the floor and making it angled by the entrance into the back of the room. And I'm just playing around putting it in the bathrooms. I had tried twisting it around. I wanted to make like a cool pattern out of it, but it wasn't working out for me. Here I am just widening the whole build by 1 square, just to make some more room. I ended up, I put a countertop there, like it's like an island counter, so and a bunch of stools. So Sims can sit there with their coffee and look out the window. It's kind of cool because they're like picture windows. So you could like sit there and watch the world go by in Evergreen Harbor, which I thought was great. I would love to have my coffee there. So I end up doing that. I do make it a little bit smaller. That's what I'm doing there. And I end up tucking like a garbage can, I think, on the one side. So here I am looking for a bookcase. I wanted something to fill that space. I ended up putting in this little cubed bookcase, which I absolutely adore. But I do move it over to the other side of the room. And I'm just painting the bathroom walls now. I put tiling on the bathroom walls, and then out here I kind of just fiddle around with the walls. I don't even remember, honestly, what I ended up putting on the walls. I think it was just like concrete or like that over its smoothness or something. I did try with those little thin paneling pieces on the both ends, but I didn't like them there. I ended up wrapping them around the bathrooms in the back of the counter, so I thought that looked really good. I liked the warmth that the wood brought to this stark concrete container. I thought that was pretty nice and realistic. Like if you go into a cafe, there's usually a lot of wood, and it's warm and cozy, kind of homey. So I tried to achieve that there with the wood. I wanted to use the darker color, but I thought it would probably darken it up since like the space is so small. So I went with this lighter beige one. Here I'm putting in one of those executive fridges because I think of like cafes and how they always have that fridge where you can like grab snacks yourself. So I put that in there. And I think I will, I'm painting the walls now, so I did them in this like gray color, and I should be moving, I'm moving the bookcase over to the other side of the room, and we are going to, we've added a couple of candles onto it. I moved them around a little bit and some extra books, so that is there. I'm not sure what I'm doing next. I'm just adding some lights. I probably should have done that in the first place. You could have seen what I was doing. I put in this lovely eco lifestyle window. I love those windows. I ended up putting the same one upstairs, but I shifted around. Initially, I put it right on the end of the build, but because I end up using, you'll see later, I end up using like a wall sign. Wow, I can't talk today. I end up using a wall sign, so I have to shift them to the other side of the build, which you'll see later on. Here we are, moving to the upstairs. I'm going to add some lighting so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of oh no, we're not moving upstairs yet. I'm just shifting around the build first. I add another one of these benches, so there is 2 benches, so people can sit out front with their coffee, and, yeah. I like the way that that front entrance turned out. I think it's cute. It's covered, you can get in from the rain. And I'm adding, yeah, that's right, I'm going to add a garbage can here, so I put this little orange one. I think I end up moving it to the other end later. I'm not 100% sure, though. I honestly cannot remember. And we should be moving upstairs shortly. Yeah, I'm putting in those windows, again, the eco lifestyle windows. I had them right on the end there. They will end up moving over to the, I guess it would be like the right-hand side of the build. If you're standing at the build looking out, anyway. If you're looking at it, it's the left hand. And I'm going to move inside and just fiddle, I guess. Add some more windows on that end. Wow, I really can't remember what I did in this build. Sorry. Here I'm putting a big door because I create a patio to the roof and I cover it with grass there. So I did that. This is where I added grass instead of concrete downstairs as well. I'm not, oh, there it is. See, I'm not sure. I kind of know to the recording. So, yeah, there's grass outside now. And then I'm just adding tables into the build upstairs. So I use these little tables. I think they're from Speedbuild. I had tried the Eco Lifestyle tables, but they were big and I didn't like the way that they looked. So I used these ones that I'm pretty sure are from Speedbuild. But I did use Eco Lifestyle chairs with them. There I am trying the Eco Lifestyle table, but it just seemed too big. So, the Speedbuild ones it is. There's the Eco Lifestyle chairs, and I got them in a white. And I thought they looked really nice. I shipped around the tables a lot to get them to all fit in there, but there's plenty of room if your Sims wanted to come here with a group of friends. Or I was thinking, like, if you have the get-together pack, then you could create a club that meets here, and there's plenty of space for them to sit. And they can enjoy the inside as well as the outside. I use these globe lights. I think they're also from Eco Lifestyle. Yeah, they are. I love those lights. I never use them. I should, because they're awesome. I thought they were a little big for the space, and that's why I'm looking around and flipping back and forth. But I like the way that they look when you go into live mode. They look really nice. So there I was just moving those windows, because I was going to try and find a sign. Now, finding a sign for this build took me forever. I ended up cutting out a lot of footage, because I must have tried every sign that exists in the game, like 10 times. None of them looked right. None of them were working. There was one I initially liked, but then when I went back and tried it again, I didn't like it so much anymore. So I ended up putting these planters out here. I do get rid of them. I think I only keep one of them up there, and I put some of these little potted planters out there as well. And I put one picnic table outside so that, like, on a nice sunny day, you could go and take your coffee outside. So I put there's those little planters. I put, I think, 3 or 4 of them in the build. And I figured that, yeah, it's just a great place to go and have a coffee and enjoy the sunshine when Evergreen Harbor is green. You don't want to go to sit out there when it's all polluted, because then your Sims will be coughing and complaining and miserable. I hate that. Happens to me all the time. I go to visit Evergreen Harbor and, like, I'm coughing and choking. Here I am just creating a little stone path. These stones are from the debug menu, so if you don't already know, which I'm sure you do, you type bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects, and it pulls up an entire, and you type in debug into the search, and it brings up an entire new catalog of items that you can use to build. All these items exist in the game, like you'll see them around in the world, but you can use them in your builds and get creative with them. I always use these stones to make a little stone path, and I think it just looks so cute. I love it. I end up extending the path around the other side, you'll see later, because I create a sitting area out back downstairs. It's also not on camera, but I think I added a door from inside to the back. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I did. If you want to see it when you download this build, from the gallery, there may or may not be a back door. So here, I'm trying out signs. I go through everything. I cut out a lot of it, but I did try, like, the big diner sign that stands up in the yard. I tried a bunch of lit up signs. I tried the, I don't want to call it a bulletin board. I don't know what it is. A billboard. I tried everything. It wasn't working. I kind of liked the billboard one for a minute, but then when I came back and looked at it, I hated the way that it looked, so I ended up getting rid of it. I eventually stick with, like, it's a white light up sign, and I think it looks really good. It worked out. But yeah, I struggled a lot, and I had to fiddle around so much with the signs. I don't know why. Usually I can find a sign very quickly, but this one it looked okay, but I felt like it looked cheap, if that makes sense. It just didn't seem to work for me. So there I moved the flower planter over to the other side, and I add one more round planter to this build. And out here you can see the pile of junk. That will all go. I remove all that junk and I end up putting a sitting area. Here, I think, I was playing around with debug items. I thought I was going to build like a little fence or something. I don't know what I was doing. But I ended up getting rid of it. It didn't work for me. So, that's what's happening there. I'm fiddling with the sign again and just checking how everything looks at night. That is not the way that it stays, though. I assure you. Here I'm just painting the upstairs inside. And checking for a sign again. I really thought I cut all this out. That's the one I end up sticking with. I put it there and on the end of the build. I think it looks really nice, especially at night. Or maybe I didn't put it on the end. I'm not sure if I did. But I put it there and it lights up at night, so it looks really good. Here I am just getting rid of all that junk, and as you'll see, I'm going to create like a seated area. I'm not sure how much of it is still in the build. I did cut some of it out. I used like debug flooring, so I'm not really sure how it's going to work if your Sims will like walk through the floor. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's totally functional. If not, it looks pretty. But I put a bunch of picnic tables, and I'm going to extend the path in a little while, which you'll see. I think I do it right now, actually, yep. And just extend the stone path and wrap it around the side of the build so your Sims can get their coffee and come around this way and go out to the sitting area if they like. So, if you're interested in this build and you wanted to download it, it is on the gallery, just so you know. It's under my ID, which is K8 Simsley, so it's a K and a number 8. Simsley. It's also under the hashtag K8 Simsley, or K8 Simsley, so you can download it that way. I will try to leave a link to it in the description, but I might forget, to be honest with you. I forget a lot of things. But you can get it off the gallery and add it to your game. I find that there's just not a lot to do in Evergreen Harbor, so I think having a cafe there it'd be pretty good. If you're playing a family there and you wanted something to do, here's a cafe for you. You can get your coffee in the morning before you go to work. Okay, so from here, I don't even remember what I'm doing next. I think I'm just messing with this back patio again. I put some graffiti on the walls at one point. I add lights back there. I also end up adding graffiti on the walls and some on the fence, but I think that's a little later. Oh, I was trying out these lights. I love these lights, but I just couldn't get them to work. Like, they weren't touching each other, or they were like too far apart. And they didn't work for me, unfortunately. I wish they had, because I think they're adorable, but not in this build. I tried them upstairs too, but it just looked silly, so I ended up getting rid of them completely. And, yeah, I just keep those two little lights that I had down there, and I think that they work well. They light it up enough that you could sit there in the evening and have a coffee if you want. But now I'm putting up some debug fencing. I had tried about 10 different kinds of fence before I finally found this one and I liked it. So I am just lining that all up. I'm going to surround it around the entire build. And yeah, I created a little garden at the very front of the build, and it kind of sticks through the fence in some places. So see, there it is. And it's very realistic. I liked it. It's all like wildflowers and long grass. And I'm just lining up some more little flowers, and then I play around. And I add a bunch of rocks, like a lot of rocks, a ridiculous amount. Here I am putting the graffiti on the walls. It was also found in debug, and I just thought it looked great. I do shift it around a lot because I end up putting like a mural, a garage door, like the DIY garage door mural from debug. I put it here. I tried out these, I don't know what they are, they're weird wires from like Star Wars or something, but I didn't like the way that looked. So I just add some more graffiti, and I put a little bit of graffiti on the fence as well. And I moved these little flowers around. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing there. There's the graffiti on the fence, and I thought that was super cute. I also put like an electrical box on the wall there, and a few other things. So here I'm just trying to find rocks to line just the front of this garden. I thought it would look good to separate it. I loved this big rock, but it either stuck through the fence or it stuck on the patio, and I didn't think that was a great idea. So I ended up just pulling out a bunch of other rocks and wiggling them on in there, just to form some kind of like barrier between the garden and the path, and I thought that worked out pretty well. I struggled a bit. I wanted to put a statue in the garden, but I couldn't find one that seemed to work. Like, there was a really cool modern one I thought would be good, but when I put it there, it looked pretty strange, so I took it out, and yeah, it's not in the video. I had the video paused at that time, I think, because I knew it was going to take me a while. So I'm just adding some more rocks, all different sizes and colors, and then I've got to go inside and I'm going to start adding some artwork. I couldn't really find artwork for this build that I enjoyed. I did end up getting a few pieces in there that I think are okay, like that tree of life and the other colorful ones there. There I am moving the garbage can. I ended up putting a plant in the other corner instead. And yeah, I just added some more. I put the bowling pictures on that wall, I think, in the end. So that's what's there. I figured you never know, like maybe there's a bowling club in Evergreen Harbor, and this is where they meet. So that's all their trophies and exciting things. You'll see it going up. I think it's in the video. That's what I put on the wall, and I thought it turned out pretty well. So, I think what I was doing here, I was looking for like one of those community billboards. You know, like in city living, there are like, when you go to your apartment, that's where they are. Like it's there and it tells you about the festivals and stuff. I was trying to find one of those, but it wasn't all working out for me. So instead, I pulled out this debug garage door DIY mural thing, and I put it at the back of the build, and I just fiddle around with the graffiti some more. I try out these long planters, and I put 2 of them at first. I thought it looked good, then I tried 3, and the 3 just, it didn't work out. So I ended up getting rid of one of them, and I think I leave 2 of them in there. I'm just testing different colors, but yeah, I think I got rid of one. Yeah, there we go. I moved everything over, and I put 2 of them there. So that's in the back. Gives them a little bit of greenery, even if Evergreen Harbor is not feeling green at the moment. There's the bowling trophies I was telling you about. You're welcome to change those if you don't want them in your build. A few more little plants. And we're going to go add some stuff upstairs. So we're going to add some more pictures. I put these 3 little wooden pictures. I think they're from Base Game. I'm not 100% sure. But I put them in different shades of wood upstairs, and I thought they looked really cute. And then on the back wall, I just grabbed, like, I think they're from Get Together. It's like a picture. It's pub pictures. It's the only way I can say it. I tried this big photo frame, but then I thought, what am I going to fill it with? And I didn't feel like taking photos. And I didn't know if they would blow up. So I ended up getting these, like, pub pictures. You'll see them in a moment. And I thought they ended up looking really good. And yeah, anyway, we're coming to the end of the build. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of every time I upload. Take care.